Hey y'all, welcome back to the Hoffmann Homestead. We are here for a week 7 garden tour. We missed week 6. There's not a whole lot going on, but we're going to take you through, try to make it as quick as possible, and get this tour going. Alright, so not a ton going on in these 3 beds. I do have a new celosia there. I put some kale plants in here, 4 of those, and then here we've got some honey nut squash that should take off soon. A poor black-eyed Susan that is just dying right now. Hopefully it pulls through. We'll see what happens. A couple pretty flowers. And my rose has a few new blooms on it, along with some Japanese beetles that I'm just going to let hang out there because they'll stay off of my other things, so they can have those roses. This side, we've got a few new flowers, some that aren't doing so great with the transplant, but we'll see. This is my son's bed, so we've got flowers in the front. We have a few flowers around here, another celosia, and then he just had to have a tomato plant, so that's what that is. We've got our cucumbers, which I'm hopeful will take off here soon. I think I figured out what that is. I'm pretty sure it's a sunflower. We'll see what happens. And then some blueberries that I'm eating some nice ripe blueberries off of just about every day. You know, there's not a ton, so I get a blueberry a day, but it's awesome. That one's chilling. Transplants are coming back. Not so much that one, but this one is, and I'm okay with that. Our loofah is taking off. Look at that, up to here. That's probably 3 feet up, maybe. But yeah, doing awesome. Hopefully that'll fill out real soon. Our mint is going crazy. So much bigger than when we first put it in these beds. And I believe these are also sunflowers. I might have gone a little crazy with the sunflower seeds. I did move my lemon tree out here, and honestly, it's doing great. It's putting out some new leaves just about everywhere. So I'm hopeful for this guy. It has been very, very dry here. We're actually in like a little bit of a drought right now, so I think the lemon tree is loving that. Strawberry bed that I desperately need to weed. We have our volunteer potato and some flowers through parts of this, but also some weeds that we need to pull. And I don't know what that is. I want to say sunflower, but I don't think so. I know these are sunflowers, and they are looking amazing. Look at how big this guy is getting already. Very excited for the sunflower bed this year. We have a couple of transplants from store-bought peppers. They are a purple pepper. Look at how gorgeous that is. And then we have artichoke. This one is massive. Look at that. And artichoke. They were crawling with ants not that long ago, and now they are doing much better. I was going to spray it with soapy water, like someone suggested on one of our last videos, but by the time I came out here to do that, we had some kind of ladybug that came and wiped out the problem. So I'm just letting nature do its thing. Another artichoke. Some transplant eggplants that are not doing great, but the ones we started from seed are doing fantastic, so I will forgive these two if they croak. We've got some okra that are still little tiny babies. I need to thin them out, so we only have one in a bunch. Our zucchini, which doesn't love to be whipped around, but is doing fantastic. We've got fruits all over the place. We actually just harvested and ate our first zucchini yesterday, I think, from this plant. And look at that. We've already got more that we could go ahead and pull if we wanted them small. But they're doing really, really good. So, very happy with this part of the garden. We're going to be just overrun with zucchini before too long. And under these massive leaves, we have some of our spaghetti squash that's starting to trail over the side. Look at those little fingers. Onions, toast. Like, they're all pretty toasted. I think that the drought has been a little rough on them. We've got a few that are pulling through, but it's definitely been a rough year for onions. But that's all right. We got some in the ground this year, and that's an improvement from last year. Okay, actually some exciting stuff happening in this bed. So first off, we have some watermelon that are supposed to be trailing out of the bed. I have 2 rhubarbs that we got from the store. And that, my friends, not this, because this is a weed, but this guy, that's an asparagus. I put in 5 crowns that we got from the store, and they would not come up, and I was pretty sad because I was sure that that meant that they were never going to come up. But sure enough, we mulched this area and we have 5 asparagus that came up, so that's pretty exciting. More watermelon that are just taking their sweet time. My shade cloth fell off of the pepper bed, but the pepper bed is doing awesome. We've got a Genovese basil doing awesome, and a Thai basil that I'm letting go to seed. And look at those peppers. We also just harvested and ate our first pepper off of that plant, I think. It was a Yolo Wonder bell pepper. And look at those. How gorgeous. I love it. All right, now the tomatoes. I just went through and tied up a ton and cut a lot off. Guys, I thoroughly underestimated the amount of pruning that needed to be done for 66 tomato plants. It's all right, we're getting there, but there's definitely a lot of growth happening much faster than I'm getting to it. So we're gonna try to keep those guys trellised up. We have a couple that kind of fell over and split, but they seem to be pulling through. So we've just got high hopes. They're all up off the ground, which is awesome. Our beans have also not been tolerating the drought very well. We've got some of them. They're doing better over here, but there's a lot more shade over here, so they're not getting baked as much. Yeah. Check those guys out. Those are some future beans. We have more beans over here, which the ones over here on this side of the bed get a lot more shade, and the ones on this side of the bed do not. And they're, well, I think they're just about all gone now. There's one over here that is still kicking, but not by very much. But that's all right. This bed is a lot of weeds, but also a lot of flowers. If you can see, there is a line here. Those are flowers. A line here, a line here. I have had the heaviest weed pressure this year than I have ever experienced in my garden. Unfortunately, I think it has something to do with the soil that we purchased, but we're gonna get through it and we will be fine. These are, what, sugar pie pumpkins? That sounds about right. So I'm probably gonna let them kind of take over in this area because some of those zinnias are not coming up and they'll live there. These rows I'm very proud of. Look at that massive cabbage. Like, just for reference, there's my hand on a leaf. That's insane. These are the Mammoth Red. We also have some squash on the edge here that's gonna trail out, and our celery is doing amazing. I have zero doubts in my mind that I will have a year's worth of celery this year. incredible. Oh, hello bee. Bye bee. We still have our pak choi that is going to seed, and it's definitely getting there. The chickens are enjoying some occasional leaves. Those leaves look almost like silver on the back. Isn't that insane? It's gorgeous and crazy. Nature's crazy. They have just the tiniest, cutest little heads on the cabbages, so that's awesome. And then this bed, of course, we've got our broccolis, collards, a few more cabbages. The second round of carrots did not do very well, I think because of how dry it is. I'm not great at watering, and I know that that is my fault, but I have had no help from nature. So we have this first round of carrots up here, and we'll try again in a couple weeks for another row down here. This bed we actually, over here and right here, did purchase some watermelon starts from, I didn't purchase, we got them free because people are giving away their extra plant starts right now. And I'm gonna let those trail in this bed just, you know, to give them a fighting chance. We actually, this bed I'm very, very excited about. This plant, and over here on that side we have jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, same situation from the store. But if you'll notice, there's two pretty big holes in this bed. I'm trying to stay relatively far away. There is a bunny that keeps making herself a little nest in this bed, and frankly, I'm gonna let her have it, and I'm gonna give her some carrots while she's doing it. So she may be laying some baby bunnies in the near future. This was her first nest, and this is what I got to see her playing around with today. So hopefully we'll help a little baby mama, a little mama bunny, lay her babies in a safe area this year. That'd be really, really awesome. Oh, herb bed. We have weeds everywhere, guys. It's fine. But our sage in particular is doing just incredible. Look at that. And then our rosemary, which we also started from seed, is doing incredible. Let me just pull some of these while I'm here. Marjoram, tiny, but there. Fenugreek. Stevia, I believe. Stevia there and stevia there. Our parsley's doing pretty good. We've got some weed pressure, but look at that guy. That's pretty big parsley, considering. I haven't harvested any off of it yet, but it's still pretty early in the season, and I think I may do that in probably the next week or so. The chive is doing awesome. We have some actual chamomile popping up, which is pretty cool. We need to harvest that and start drying it. Bee balm is looking a little rough. So is the lemon balm. It may be the transplant followed by a lot of dry heat, so hopefully that pulls through. Then strawberry bed. Random tomato, just, you know, pulling through. And then our green stock, which is doing pretty good. I need to come through and deadhead some of these nasturtium, but isn't that pretty? Look at that. I love that. It's doing pretty good. It's holding up to the dry heat pretty well. I'll come in here, and every time I water the garden, I'll just, you know, spray each of these. It's not a level surface, so I don't fill it from the top. I just kind of spray each cup, and it's doing pretty good. What is that? I hope I planted that. One of the most exciting changes in the last couple weeks is actually a major upgrade for our chickens. If you can see behind me, we finally have their run set up, so I'm going to take you through that real quick. All right, and I apologize for the wind. It has been windy all day. There is no getting around it, but here is the new run for the chickens. They're able to come out of their smaller run. We've got a door here with a nice handle. Thank you to my husband for putting that on there. This is approximately a 20-foot by 30-foot space for currently 10 chickens. We do have some plans for this side. I want to put like a grate over this area and put some seeds down, like leafy greeny things that the chickens can eat from above the grate without getting at the roots and destroying it. As you can see, this space is pretty barren. This is where the old garden was, so it is not necessarily seen the proper light of day. It had, weed cloth down forever. So the little greens they're picking at, that's just some weeds that we've picked up here and there, and I think they're enjoying it so far. They've been pretty fun to watch. I'm glad that they're finally coming out. For the first day, they would not come out of there even though the door was wide open. So I'm very excited about this space. I need to get me a little sign, and then eventually we're gonna get another piece of wood up there to just kind of hold it together, because it does kind of gap on this side, but it's perfectly functional for the time being. Here is the view from the other side. Check those girls out. It's a pretty nice space. I'm really happy that we were able to do this, especially having 10 chickens. I didn't want them to be, on top of each other too much if they didn't need to be, so we love it. And if you can't tell, we love T-posts around here. We built the entire thing with some T-posts, most of which we'd already had because we overcalculated how many we needed for the garden space. So we had to get maybe 4 more T-posts and then some chicken wire, which we got more chicken wire than we needed as well. Girls. Fighting back there. But it was fairly inexpensive. This was just some scrap wood we had from building the garden, and then another project that we did, I'm sure, a few years ago. And now we have a run for the girls. It already has a cement border around it. I believe this was the old garden plot from the previous owner, so there's not going to be a whole lot of digging. It doesn't quite come up to the T-posts, so there is still room, but their coop is what's primarily going to keep them safe at night, and I believe that this setup will keep them perfectly safe during the day, and it's tall enough where hopefully they won't be getting out anytime soon. All right, on that note, that is this week's garden tour. Sorry we missed last week, but hopefully we will see you guys again next week for a weekly update, and some of this stuff will be producing some food. Maybe more than just zucchini, but we'll see what happens. Thank you for coming. Have a good one.